Okay, hi folks. Some of the work that we do in the clearing, especially when we're working with environmental energies, requires the use of a dowsing rod or a simple L rod. These are available under various names in different countries online, and they can be expensive and they can be quite elaborate. But I've found that if you can make your own, a very, very simple L rod, then obviously you save money, but you get the satisfaction of creating something yourself. So this very brief video is about how to make an L rod, a dowsing rod, for your work with the environmental energies or anything else that you choose. Now you see I've got some stainless steel here. This is used in gas welding, and you can get these from pretty much any gas welding store, any supplier of this sort of equipment. I've got a photograph of it which I'll put up, and you can see exactly what you're looking for. These come in lengths of about a metre, which is close to a yard. So what we do with this one, first of all, we're going to need to measure it and cut it into thirds. Now I've got one here that I've already cut into a third, so simply with the simple tools that I've got here, which are pliers and a file, I'm just going to cut this other one here into 3 pieces using the original one that I have to measure it. Try not to let it escape, and cut this one as well, number 3. So I'll just won't lose those. Okay, so that's the first step. We cut these into 3. If you don't have, or you can't access the metal from the welding store, you can use one of these, a coat hanger, a wire coat hanger. I prefer the stainless because the wire coat hanger does tend to make your hands smell, and for various other reasons I wouldn't put it close to my mouth, whereas one of these things is not a problem. This one's quite large. I mean, I don't even know I'm going to be able to cut this. It is so thick that I don't think you would normally... No, this is not going to work. I'm going to have to find a smaller coat hanger, but the intent is just the same. You cut off, now if I measure this one, this comes out to 12 plus 1, 13, just over 13 inches. If you're in decimal, that will be 30 plus, so that's about 34 centimetres long. So you do the same for your coat hanger. Try and cut a piece out of the straight. Try to ignore those bendy bits because they're difficult to straighten out. This one would be just long enough if I were to be able to cut it, but it's such a heavy duty one that it's not going to work with these little pliers I have here. So either way, you cut a piece of wire straight, preferably this stuff, into pieces, and then you're going to need to file the edges, the ends, sorry, because these are quite sharp after you've cut them, and because we hold this in our hand, we don't want it to tear open our fingers, which it would do if it was still. So you can see how I'm filing this. First of all, I'll go across the top to take the rough cut area off, and then I'm going to go at an angle, and I'm turning this as I go between thumb and forefinger so that I get a nice even bevel on the end of the thing. Lightly finish it off, go over the top once more, and then I'll check with my finger to make sure that this is not going to hurt me sticking in, and I just twiddle it over the finger, and this is quite safe and round. Then I'm going to have to do the other end exactly the same, because you don't want poking anybody with this thing while it's sharp. You don't want to poke it when it's not sharp either, but obviously it's a lot safer if it's being filed down. So I've gone across the top. Now I'm doing it at an angle all the way around. So I'm turning the rod with my thumb across my finger and stroking the file back in the opposite direction And you can see it starting to shine and develop that sort of rounded shape that you want. Doesn't take very long, and then I'll check that end on the finger as well. The next step is simply to take your pliers, and depending on how large your hands are, you might want to measure this, but really you're looking for, let me just have a look and I can give you a more accurate reading. I think you're looking for about 8 centimetres for your bend, okay? 8 centimetres for those in Imperial is 3 1/4 inches, okay? And then just bend this at 90 degrees. There you go. Pretty simple. Take it out, check to see if you've got 90 degrees. You can adjust it by a little bit of pressure. Just straighten it out, and there you have a simple L rod that cost you a few cents. Holding it, as I've shown you in the introductory videos, is simply a matter of resting it on your little finger, placing the L rod here. Make sure there's enough space between your top of your finger and the top of the L rod. Keep your thumb gently behind it, and at all times try and keep this parallel with the ground. And that is very cheap, easy to make, and we'll get you started on dowsing on the environment. Thanks for watching. I hope this has made sense, and if you've got any questions, of course, you can send an email or reply to this comment on this video online. Thanks folks. Until next time, be well, be happy.